For me, my podcast, I describe it as just talking to my friends on the phone. That's what it feels like. I don't even feel that the entire world is listening. I kind of am just like, hey, oh my gosh, did you see this? This is crazy. Oh, I just read this crazy book. Oh my gosh, what does this mean about our government? It's corrupt. It's like talking to my family on the phone. And then we kind of sort of find out that the entire world is listening when all of these hit pieces are being written about me. And I'm like, oh, we're basically being spied on. Why is somebody listening to our private conversations? So yeah, when I found out really kind of sort of definitely with the rest of the world that my show had been rather unceremoniously canceled, it was upsetting. It sort of felt like you're talking on those old school cord phones late into the night and like your parents are sleeping and then you think they're sleeping. And then suddenly your mom picks up and she's like, yeah, this conversation is ending right now and you're grounded for 2 weeks. It's over. Deeply, deeply upsetting. And I think also something that was strange is that when most people leave their jobs, they just sort of leave their jobs. It doesn't really become this global news story where everybody feels like they have to comment. Yeah, a worldwide Twitter trend for an entire week. Crazy. And I want to say this, I genuinely, my entire life, I believe that you should always aim to split amicably, whether that's in a relationship, whether you're in the midst of a divorce, which I hope never happens, or whether it's just leaving a job. I mean, why else would we put years in anywhere if you did not want that relationship to end amicably? That should always be the aim. I want you to know that. Wherever you are going, don't put in years somewhere and then have it be a messy split. And quite frankly, I also think it's the right thing professionally not to speak about why you are splitting or what's happened. But I was shocked, very shocked, and I'm sure you were shocked as well, when no sooner was the split announced than Andrew Klavan just was like, hey, it's me. I pick myself. I'm going to be her crazy ex-boyfriend. It was like a bizarre tour he went on.
Basically, what she's telling you guys is they were emotional, they got in their feelings, and then ultimately that's the thing that led to the messy split. Aside from the fact or the reason why they decided to divest themselves from her in the first place, she actually won, in my opinion. And I know that the narrative from a lot of people is, yeah, you found out, and yeah, you found that you black and all of this other stuff. That don't have anything to do with it. As a matter of fact, there's been several people, uh, notably, that turned down the Daily Wire or, you know what I'm saying, put them on blast and things like that. And the way that they go about doing business, who knows? But what Candace Owens is basically doing is saying is, listen, I got let go and it was emotional about it. And then they went on this worldwide tour in order to be able to disparage my name, even though I was trying to leave amicably. And just because, you know what I'm saying, we may have a disagreement doesn't necessarily mean that we shouldn't be or we shouldn't leave on good terms. But y'all are like a bitter scorned ex. And so now here we are. That's the translation from a C student.
He felt like it was his duty, or maybe somebody knighted him and said, you know what, Andrew Klavan, this is your duty to go around and to just smear
That rock on her
Candace
finger is insane, though. Her wedding ring, that junk is huge.
Owens. Say whatever it is that you want about her. And there's a piece of this that everybody's missing, and I do want to talk about that. I think Lauren Chen really summed it up, or at least pointed to it on Twitter. She sort of said, what's really missing in all of these conversations with Andrew Klavan is, are you guys recognizing that he's basically saying she was really nice to him? That there was nothing that she did from a personality perspective. Yeah, that is kind of the big part that I think a lot of people are missing. Lauren Chen is correct. I was nothing but kind and nice and warm to Andrew Klavan for years. I had what I would describe as a very good working relationship with him, as I do with everybody. It's important to me to always represent myself professionally, also to always be nice and check in on people's lives. And just a few weeks before this, Andrew Klavan was sitting across from me on backstage, asking about my kids, asking us how I was doing, talking to him about the fact that I had had a surgery. I had been walking around in a boot just a little prior to that because I had a surgery back in December. And I think that is just, I don't know, I don't even want to say it's strange.
It's fake. You ain't got to say it's strange. You ain't got to do none of that. We gonna say it for you. It's fake. It was sitting in front of your face, like a lot of other people experience on a much larger and smaller scale. They was smiling, acting like y'all was cool. and then they stabbed you in the back, and the minute that you walked out the door, or the minute that you got unceremoniously fired, they decide to go on the offense. But I think that she is the one that won in the end, and I'll talk about it in a second.
Strange, more than strange. I think it's dishonorable. You know, a lot of people go, oh, why do all of these young men follow Tristan and Andrew Tate? Why don't they follow people like, I don't know, Andrew Klavan? And I've really spent a lot of time trying to understand how it is, and I think this was just recently announced, that someone like Andrew Tate has become the third most Googled person in the world. That was recently announced. The third most Googled man in the world is Andrew Tate, his brother. They are from the wrong side of the tracks. How do they gain a following of so many young men following them? I think that one thing I could bet my life on is that if me and Andrew Tate were enemies, he wouldn't be sitting across from me asking me how my kids are.
Right.
He wouldn't. I also want to say that just in terms of how I've always behaved with my colleagues, if I ever had a disagreement with something that they said, I would never do anything other than to go to them directly.
I was just talking about this. I just did a live stream on this last week. People get emotional and then they start going on a rant online instead of calling you directly, especially when you directly connected to them and they got your phone number. I just talked about this. You know, when people, you know what I'm saying, get a little bit upset because you didn't respond immediately to their text message or something like that. You know how it is. But we gonna continue.
I would not be holding on to anything. In fact, this is a true story. One time, Matt Walsh tweeted something, and I thought that he just didn't have all of the facts. I'm not even gonna tell you what the situation was. It wasn't that important. But I just called him, and I was like, hey, saw your tweet. I think that you should talk to this person because I think there's something that you're missing. And Matt was like, oh, well, I'm not going to change my mind on this. And I was like, I'm not asking you to change your mind. I just want to introduce another fact. And I got him on the phone with somebody else, and they had a conversation. I don't even know what happened with that conversation, but that's just the way that I would expect colleagues to behave. But you would just raise something directly with the person that you are seeing on a day-to-day basis. But Andrew Klavan didn't do any of that. And what he said about me, and the reason why I'm responding forcefully, is because it rose to a level not just of tremendous dishonor to him as an individual, but also to blatant defamation. Andrew, he just lied. I know, it was just such a weird thing for me to watch. He was lying with such gumption. And I'm going to show you guys how you really can sort of sniff out these sorts of lies in politics in general. And we're going to start by just cutting to Andrew. He, on his second appearance talking about me, because, you know, he really wanted me gone, but also can't stop talking about me, appeared on a show called Cross Politic. And he was explaining my alleged anti-Semitism. Take a listen.
The DailyWire parted ways with Candace Owens, and part of it was things that she was saying that we felt were strongly anti-Semitic. And she was doing it in such a way that it was kind of hard to pin down, so I was trying to show where these things happen.
Strongly anti-Semitic, but in a way that was difficult to catch. So what we're veering into here now, obviously, is just like Black Lives Matter, giving you a definition of racism. It's in a way that only people with expert eyes can see it. Otherwise, he would just throw up a clip and be like, wow, look at this crazy thing Candace said, how anti-Semitic. This guy's really a racist. He's just like dropping N-bombs. Like, obviously, this person is extremely racist. But when you get to this sort of like, it was done in a way, you just know that it doesn't exist, that they're just going to have to make it up. They got to Jussie Smollett it. You know what I mean? You just got to make it up. And guess what? Andrew does just that. He jumps into a Hitler hoax. By the way, let me explain to you what I mean when I say a Hitler hoax. We live in 2024, okay? If somebody ever comes to you and says, like, I don't know, I'm a black person, and somebody tied a noose and left it around my neck, that's probably a hoax. It's just people are not tying nooses in 2024, and it just reeks of a hoax. For a Jewish person, Andrew is racially Jewish, if they're trying to sell to you that someone just like jumped up on stage and started being like, yes, I love Hitler, or like, you know, this person was just glorifying Hitler, you're probably being lied to. 99.9% of the time, it's a lie. And they do it because they have built up Adolf Hitler in our school books. They know that we instantly just recoil when we hear, oh my God, this person is supporting Hitler. So Andrew just jumps right into a Hitler hoax. And here is what he says, or at least what he says that I said. Take a listen.
But when you start saying things like some of those books Hitler burned weren't so bad. You know, I was shocked. This is something Candace actually said. I was surprised to learn that the books Hitler was burning or the Nazis were burning, they weren't good books. They were bad books. They were socialist books.
Andrew, my friend, Andrew, my former colleague, I just don't know how you can do that.
Listen, this is a sum total of it, all right? And she got a whole lot more, so y'all can go over to her channel and be able to check it out. It's funny because I went over to her channel and I'm looking through it and I'm scrubbing through it, and now she only has 582 videos, which I believe she had significantly more than that. And if you start to, go through it, obviously it's been cleansed. It only got videos at the bottom and then for you. And then you go through and you start to look at all of the videos. You say, oh, okay, 3 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, 8 months ago, 1 year ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. These are all of the videos that she has that was separate from the Daily Wire. All of the videos that she had or that she did on the Daily Wire has now been scrubbed from her channel. So essentially, she's starting over, not starting over. She still have all of her subscribers. She still has her visibility. And obviously on this video in particular is less than 24 hours old and it already has 593,000 views. I'm pretty sure that she's going to be okay. So I don't think that anybody has to worry about Candace Owens per se or in particular. However, I think that she won. And a lot of people can't see the long-term goal or the long-term game as a result of it. She got the bag. She got more visibility. She continued to be successful as a result of it. And she leveraged them and their platform in order to build herself up. And now, you know what I'm saying? She still owns her or has her own channel. I'm guessing that was a part of whatever the negotiation was or one of the reasons why she was silent. And then she dropped the video, and in less than 24 hours, she already got 600,000 views and growing. And so she allowed for herself to continue to get more visibility, build herself up. I think that she comes out of this looking like a winner because, obviously she's the only person that's not reacting emotionally, while on the flip side, they did a whole bunch of feminine behavior and they got emotional as a result of how they felt about what she stood for, when in reality, they're hypocritical because they have a lot to say about what other people do and what everybody else says, especially when it comes to race relations. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. We just did a live stream this morning with Sock Club. It was absolutely awesome. I can't wait to read y'all comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.